most lovely people on the planet, and that is no exaggeration. He is amazing in every way, such a kind human being. If we had more Doug Jones in the world really would be a better place. Let's give it up for Doug Jones!
Introduction at a Trek convention. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Can I explain this first of all? I know, right? Getting old sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I'll tell you what, I had a car accident back then. I mean, little, it was in a parking lot. That's all it was. In November, and I turned the steering wheel and went, ah! And 3 tendons came falling apart. Like, whoa! It's like rubber bands coming off the pulleys. So I'm from the walk-it-off generation. Like, I'll be fine. And some things you just can't walk off, I found.
It was not fine.
It was not fine. I kept working all this while, since November, faking my way through little independent film shoots and things, playing humans now more than ever before, which I'm loving. I know, right? Kind of like when that episode when Saru went into a hologram program and became human. Yeah, that was like, I like this. So, even more at that way. Finally, I had an orthopedic surgeon look at an MRI on my shoulder. He's like, how are you not screaming in pain every day? Well, because I'm Doug Jones, that's why.
That's right. That's right. Are you a superhuman? Because it sure seems like it.
My surgeon seems to think so.
Hey, that's good enough. That's all right.
Good. So we did a major surgery about a month ago. Repairing 3 tendons, and I have a cadaver part in me now, so I'm actually a zombie now. Yes. I just said to be proud of me. I've called him Bernie, and we're getting along great. Yeah. He does argue with me some days, where he doesn't want to get out when I do. So, come on, Bernie. We're doing good though.
Cool. Now, I do have to ask another question about your wardrobe today. What is going on with the shoes?
Fabulous.
Yes, are these your lucky shoes? Look at that.
Yeah, right. I have these in all colors. They're like velvet with like princely markings on them, and I wear brooches now too. Can I tell you something silly I did?
Yes, please.
Have you all heard of those titles you can buy and get a lordship in Scotland? I did that. I did it for the whole Jones family back in 2020. It was like a little pandemic picked me up. Let's all be we're lords and ladies in Scotland. And I did it before everyone did it. And so when everyone did it, it's like, well, I don't feel special anymore. Everyone's a lord and lady now. So I saw an advertisement on my Facebook for Sealand. Has anyone heard of Sealand? Okay, well they sell titles too. but they sell better ones. So I am now Duke Douglas of Sealand. Thank you. And here's the fun news. Sealand is a little platform out in the ocean, out in the English Channel between England and mainland Europe. And it was a defense outpost in the World War II. The British Navy put up, and it was one of many. After World War II ended, they tore them all down. This one was just outside their waters, so they left it. And some guy goes out there in 1967, plants a flag, and says, "My country." So it's been Sealand since 1967. I don't know, and he wants to do whatever he wants, and it's his country, right? And I love it.
It just worked that way? It happened?
I guess so. No one ever contended it. So,
Wow.
Sealand. So here's the deal. A documentary is in the works about me called Get Me Doug Jones. Do you love this? I know. I'm very excited about it. And it's been arranged, we're going to be doing a couple conventions in the UK in October, Scotland and also Manchester, UK. And while we're there, the week between those cons, we're going to make a trip out to Sealand. and not anybody can just go out there. You have to make arrangements, and they have to boat you out there and pull you up in a little bucket. I don't know. It's in fight. Yeah, it's not easy to get to.
So you have to make a reservation to get to Sealand.
Or they only take reservations. So I feel very lucky. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing.
So that's why if I'm going to be a duke, I better have nice brooches and shoes, right? So I went on the Amazon. Think of the search bar, right? Royal footwear. He's gone. Yes. So they have them in green, blue, red, and black.
Wow.
Yeah.
So any wardrobe choice you make, you're set.
I'm set now. I got all the colors.
Wow, that is awesome.
You weren't expecting to talk about that today, were you?
You know, I did not. I had no idea we were going to learn about Sealand or that you were a duke. I'm learning so much right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, we have to talk about Discovery, of course,
Of course.
because the lovely Saru
Yeah.
was a character who meant a lot to me as somebody who has dealt with mental health stuff, and Saru certainly had anxiety issues and worked through them, and I love that example so much because usually mental health gets sensationalized with the bad stuff without the rest of it, all of the work you have to do to overcome it. So I just want to say thank you for portraying a character that did that.
Thank you all. Thank you all of you. Oh gosh, Saru is so special to me for so many reasons, and this is one of them. The journey that he went on over the 5 seasons. When the character was introduced to me, the backstory that I got from the writer's room was all of that we remember him being. He's from the planet Kaminar. He's a Kelpian. I've never seen that species in Trek before. But he is a part of a prey species. There's a predator species on the same planet that has them under their thumb this whole time. And so, and they do mercy killings when you get to a certain age, and you're constantly living in fear. It's an innate, inborn thing that you're just always afraid, and that's why the threat ganglia would come out of my head.
Yes.
I'm always sensitive to what threat might be there. I could sense it coming. He also sensed the coming of death. He talked about that a few times. So when I was introduced to that way in the character, I was like, oh, I get him. Right? Anybody? Oh my gosh.
Anybody come out all the time.
Right.
You just can't see them.
So this is a mental health issue that has never been labeled. Some don't label it. It's just an everyday thing that a lot of us live with. Anxiety, fear of the unknown. If I can't see what's happening tomorrow, I'm afraid of it. That's just who I am. And so that's who Saru was too. And season 2 comes along, and they do an episode where I was reading it one page at a time, going, oh, he's getting sick. Oh, they're going to kill me off. Right, I was sure of it. And then as it turns out, that he's going through what the Kelpians call the horror, which is where their threat ganglia get inflamed, and what the Ba'ul did on the planet, the predator species, they would do mercy killings to put us out of our misery before we went crazy and died on our own. And what they didn't tell us was they were killing us before our adolescence. And that was actually the part of, and now I'm away from Kaminar on the Starship Discovery by myself, the only Kelpian. What I remember is, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be mercy killed. So I asked Captain Vernon, well, she was a specialist, Vernon at the time, can you come to my quarters and do the mercy killing for me? Because we were like brother and sister. She's the one I trusted to do this. When she gets in there, I give her my Kaminar bone knife, and she's getting up to like weepy scenes. Sonequa Martin Green, bless her, I love that girl. She and I, right? She and I are very much like brother and sister in real life. In fact, we still call each other brother and sister to this day.
Aww.
And so our characters are very, very adopted each other kind of brother sister characters.
Love that.
So going through that day, we were both in tears for most of that shoot day, but with that scene. And at the end of the day, we both had headaches. It's like, I've been crying all day, headache, you know, the one. And so when she gets the knife up to my threat ganglia, all of a sudden, they fall out, all on their own. And immediately, Saru's like, huh, I feel better. Didn't see that coming. So that's when we realized that all this time the Ba'ul have been lying to us, and we used to be the predator species that had them under control. and they outsmarted us, in fact, figured a way to control us emotionally and mentally, as people do in this world that are horrible, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So, wow, so much like life and art parallels here, right? So, what I learned from playing this character was, wow, threatening fell out. All of a sudden, he has no fear anymore. The innate fear is now gone. He now has confidence and courage that he's never known before. No Kelly has known since the days where we would way before about what God is. So I thought, what if I, Doug Jones, take that same theory into my human life? The world around us hasn't changed. Threats and challenges come at us every day. But instead of it all depends on how we react to it. So instead of being, oh, I'm afraid of this thing, we're all going to die, instead of that, like I usually do, I'll do like Saru does now, and be like, we're going to get through this, it's going to be fine.
Right? Working through the problem. You can't control what's out there, but you can't control you.
Yes, that's what Saru taught me, and I'm grateful to him forevermore.
I love that. Now, with the great game coming out, with that particular story coming, I thought, in the moment while watching Discovery, oh no, they're taking away the thing about this character that really makes him interesting and that I love, and then what are they going to do with him now? Only to realize that there is that whole other aspect of dealing with mental health where you do overcome and you become that person you wanted to be. And so we did that too.
He did that, and so our head writer, Michelle Paradise, thank you, good gosh. She often did like a check-in with us before the next new season would start. And, what would you like to see, for Saru, or if there anything for someone like, and I'm like, gosh, I don't know if he's ever known romantic love in his life, right? So when season 3 comes around, and we had this guest star come on our show that was the president of Navarre, the Vulcan lady, President Tarina. She shows up on our bridge on a hologram, and Saru's immediate reaction was, she's great. And then in that episode, she came aboard our ship in real form, and I was her host, showing her around. And when we were saying goodbye to each other at the end of the issue that we were working out, Navarre, her planet, had not rejoined the Federation yet, and this is long in the future, right? And so I was talking to her about, well, the negotiations and the talk about rejoining the Federation are still happening, I understand that, but in the meantime, I'd like for our talks to continue. And that was scripted, right? And she said, yes, I would like that. We say our goodbyes, I want to prosper, she beams out, and I look out the window longingly. And then so I asked Michelle Paradise, ooh, is that the love story I've been hoping for? And she said, I hadn't thought of that.
So you just did it on the spot?
Yes! So I said, please make it so. Right? My God.
Taking command of your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they brought her back and met for multiple episodes in season 4 and 5, and we fell in love, and we ended up with a beautiful marriage and the most fabulous clothes I've ever worn.
Oh my goodness, yes. Who thought disco was going to end with a wedding?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Loved it though, loved it. Now, disco did wrap up last year, and actually a little longer for you all since...
We finished filming 2 years ago. Yeah.
Right. So now that it's in the rearview mirror for you, what are you thinking about when you reflect on Discovery and you completed a 5-year project? How do you feel about it?
Oh, it's a mile marker in my life for sure. I'm an old guy. I'm 65 now. I look great.
Yes, you do.
I beg for that. I'm sorry. Now, though, gosh, looking back, at my career has spanned 39 years of that 65 years. And in that 39 years, I've played a gazillion different characters and a gazillion different projects that I've liked and loved and cherished. Discovery was the biggest block of time I've devoted to anything, and Saru is a character that I've gotten to know better than any other character I've ever played, because I've played him for longer than any other character I've ever played before. So he's near and dear to me. Like I said, the life lessons learned from him, And the bond built among our castmates, we are still, family to this day. As you'll find any Star Trek cast you'll have up here, they talk about each other like they're still family to this day. That's, it is a bonding experience when you're in outer space together. It really is.
Right.
So hopefully, Discovery will live in the Star Trek canon as one of the many series and movies out there that make Star Trek what it is. I hope so.
Sad. What's some other life lessons that you learned from Saru?
That no matter what you look like and how ill-fitting you think you are in the group of people you're around, if you're the one who looks funnier, acts funnier, walks funnier, you still have the potential to be beautiful in someone's eyes, and you still have the potential to be loved.
Yeah, well said. Another thing I loved about Saru was that, and I maybe even put this out there on the spot, is you were an example of positive masculinity, much in the way disco paved the way to show good mental health hygiene, but also just, having a good, healthy outlook as a human. And once Saru lost the threat ganglia and became this more confident, stoic person who was really thoughtful, I wondered how much of that of yourself are you injecting into the character, or is it the other way around?
Well, I think we give a lot to each other, honestly. The writers do an awful great job of giving us material to work with, and we can personalize that as we perform it, for sure. Yes, I find Saru to be a positive masculine figure in my life now too. He's very much a leader. He knows what he's doing. He's very intelligent, very smart, but he leads with love, and he leads with mentorship. He was the captain, and he was the high-ranking officer on the ship who would take these young officers and be like, there, we're going to get through this. You're doing a great, he was the attaboy. There you go, you're doing a great job. That project they put you to, well done. And we need that feedback in our life. And you're right, don't we? I wish my dad had done more of that when he was alive.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay, I want to talk about something completely off the wall. This has nothing to do with Discovery.
Oh, good, here we go.
Yeah. Okay, when I was a kid, I was addicted to the show Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh my gosh, that's obscure love.
And found out because thanks to Pluto TV, who runs the show endlessly, 24/7.
If those mysteries are still unsolved. They only run
true.
Yeah, right. They don't run the episodes that have been solved.
That's right. But
So I have been in reruns for decades.
You were on that show. You played somebody who was in a treatment facility, right?
His name's Gordon Page. He was autistic, but misdiagnosed as a kid, and went missing from a group home when he was put on the wrong medication, and he was, bless his heart, he was getting medication for something he wasn't, and it affected him poorly, and he ran away from the group home and was never found again. So, I mean, they're talking about a heart.
Oh, that's sad. That's a downer because they never found him.
Never found him. And
that's why I'm seeing it on Pluto TV and they didn't solve it.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Oh.
But I looked enough like Gordon Page, that's why I was cast to play him, and so we brought in to film these reenactment scenes of his life, moments in his life. His family, his real family was there. They had flown them out from Michigan to be a part of our shoot. We do their interview segments. When the mom saw him, she was broken to tears. I mean, talk about, and for an acting job, it's like, I'm glad it was very meaningful and purposeful for me to be there and help tell this story, that if anyone out there finds Gordon Page, here's the number to call. I was glad to be a part of that for the family.
Oh, how sweet. Yeah, it had to have been cathartic in some way.
Well, and I learned about autism from that too. I didn't know what autism was. And this is we filmed this in 1994. So it wasn't talked about as much back then. So when Gordon was diagnosed correctly by one therapist, that therapist was also brought out to be interviewed, and I talked with him quite a bit. What is autism? Tell me, that really helped me ingest Gordon to play him correctly.
Amazing. Okay, I do have one more question I just have to ask you because I'm moderator privilege, but I do want to open up the floor to anybody else who would like to ask. Okay, people are lined up. Very good. Okay. I've been with my husband for almost 20 years. And you've been married for 41.
41 years.
Okay. For all the married folks, the folks who would like to be married, what has been the key to maintaining your relationship with your college sweetheart this whole time?
Since I'm an actor, our secret has been living in separate cities. So
what you're saying is I need to move.
there you go. It will last forever. Even with me working on location as much as I have over the years, everybody knows that everybody wants to be home, I think there's an old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I've changed that to absence makes the heart grow honest. When you are away from the situation, your true feelings about it tend to come out, right? If it's a great relationship, it'll be like, oh gosh, I miss that person, can't wait to be back with that person. If it's not a great relationship, but you're going along day by day because they're in your face and you're doing your best job to behave correctly, you get apart from that, it's like that's when it'll hit you. Oh my gosh, this isn't working at all. So I think absence does make the heart grow honest, and every time I've been away from Mrs. Glory, it's like I just want to go home. Yeah.
Aw, that's so sweet. And that is your honest feelings. Yeah, I feel that too. At the end of these conventions, the only thing on my mind is I can't wait to get home to my husband, my cats, my life. As fun as this all is, yeah, that's home. Love it. How about we open the floor up to questions?
Hi, Mr. Becky. Hi. Lisa and Brad, we live here in Vegas, and you are a highlight every year. You know, one thing we always look forward to are the, if we don't have it, we're very sad if we don't get our Doug hug every year. So anyway, and I haven't had mine yet, so just so you know, I'm looking forward to it.
I'll be back at my table after this. Okay.
Get that hug.
If you come to my table, you're getting a hug, that's the rule.
Even if it's a half, my question is, I saw you at the premiere with your lovely wife at the Fantastic Four, and because you're a Silver Surfer, obviously, and we're just wondering any memories you have from that with the wonderful Julian McMahon that we just lost.
Yes, God bless him. Yeah, I was the Silver Surfer in the old Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
Let's emphasize the word old. It was very, very sweet of Disney and Marvel to invite us legacy actors to this new premiere. I enjoyed the new movie very much. It was very retro 60s. It was a throwback to those early comic books for sure. Wasn't it great? Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, but when I was given the role of the Silver Surfer back in 2006 when we were filming the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, the honor was like this high. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have imposter syndrome. That's part of that anxiety thing. I'm not up to the task. We got the wrong guy. They'll find that out as soon as we start filming. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna ruin this movie. I was all over that. But I went to a comic book store because I wanted to get boned up on Silver Surfer. Who is he? What's his backstory on? So I went to a comic book store in Burbank, California, close to where I live, and I asked the kid behind the counter, can you imagine this kid? And I said, okay, I just got cast as the Silver Surfer in the next Fantastic Four movie. And he's like, I said, do you have any of those comic books I can study? He goes, dude! He starts pulling things off the rack, and I got volumes of anthologies and the whole thing, so I got the backstory, the origin story, the whole thing. And I went home to study it. But reading Stan Lee's writing, the way the Silver Surfer spoke, Stan Lee had said that that's his favorite character that he ever worked on for Marvel, and that because he was able to speak so poetically and so genuinely about his observation of this planet Earth and the people on it, how they treat each other, how they treat the planet, all those things, he could speak through the Silver Surfer. So Stan loved writing for him. Jack Kirby, artwork, shut up, right? He created such imagery that all these beautiful balletic poses that were still very strong, but very graceful for the surfer. So taking those poses and trying to connect them all on film as a live action character, that was the challenge, but it was also such a pleasure for me to do. Thank you for asking, it's very sweet of you.
Let's go over here.
Thank you for all your work. You're incredible actor. actor. Have you ever thought about writing a book because you have so many incredible acting experiences and that you can pass on and incredible stories? Have you ever thought about writing a book?
Yes, thank you for asking. In addition to the documentary being done right now called Get Me Doug Jones. And you know why it's called that, by the way? Careers go through 5 stages, or 4 different how much is it? Who the hell is Doug Jones? Get me Doug Jones. Get me a Doug Jones type. And who the hell is Doug Jones? So we're hoping that I'm still viable. That's why it's in addition to that, though, a literary agent from New York did contact my manager to say, is Doug Jones going to ever work on an autobiography? I'd like to represent him for that, if so. So I was like, oh, I'm not old now, aren't I? Okay. Well, it's time. So the process is underway to get that started. It's going to be a while, but yes, thank you. Thank you for asking that.
Over here.
Hello, Mr. Jones. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You know, even though Discovery only had 5 seasons, it was with us for almost 8 years. And it got us through some really hard times like the pandemic, the writer's strike, insurrections, and all the other stuff, you know, that's happened during that time. And I just want to thank you for getting us through these hard times with Discovery. Star Trek seems to always show up at the right time when we need it.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you can also attribute the writers for all that they put into it. And you know, my favorite part of coming to a convention just like this one is hearing personal stories like what you're saying of what somebody was going through at the time they were watching something I was in. Star Trek comes up a lot. Discovery was there for a lot of people through their cancer treatments, through the death of a loved one, through the changing of a job, firing and rehiring of a job, moving house and having stress, pets lost, pets, so much recovery from surgeries, right? I hear a lot about people binge watching something while they're lying in bed. I love these stories more than you know, and that gives it kind of validates why I do what I do. It makes it all make sense. Thank you.
One quick thing, I have a friend that really, she loves Discovery, but she hates the reason for the burn. I was wondering, how do you feel about the burn? And the reason?
Well, Sukal, my little Kelpie friend, was angry. So of course he would burn the universe up. I don't know. Yeah. Good question. That's all to think about.
Over here.
Hey there. First of all, Doug hugs have the ability to calm a nervous system like no other. Yeah. What would a talent you have in addition to acting? I'm a huge fan since Buffy, which is getting a reboot. I did want to ask you about what you talked about earlier, the episode where you could show your human face on Discovery. Can you talk a little bit about that experience? Not just not being able or not having to wear prosthetics, but was there an emotional component for you being able to have your human face on a show where you've been under prosthetics the whole time and interacting with your colleagues with your actual face?
Think about this for a minute, right? I feel like a lot of my 39-year career has been under rubber beds, yes. I played a lot of humans along the way, but when I was cast as a human, I really would be playing a human. This was different because I had developed all of Saru, including the look. Every decision I made about Saru included the prosthetics and those hoof boots, right? and how he moved and how he meant the world around him. So we go into a hologram program and I become human. And when reading, now imagine me reading the script. What? Right? So 2 thoughts happened at the same time. Oh, good. The other one was, oh no.
Are you saying you missed the makeup?
Well, not that I didn't miss the makeup process so much as I was like, I don't know how to play Saru in a human body, really. Because I was flat-footed, right, too. And with this face, I'm thinking, oh, is this pretty enough to pull off Saru? Because I think Saru's a gorgeous alien, right? So I'm like, oh, I don't know the chin he has, you know, whatever. And so I thought, oh gosh. And mind you, I was also bald. I was shaving my head to the skin every day to where the Saru makeup had glued onto me from all around my entire head. So for that episode, it's like, I'm still shaved on the head. Do I want to play him bald? So that's why they put the hair you saw on me was a wig. So anyway, but it was terrifying, but also kind of liberating to be out of the makeup makeup for a minute. I was in the makeup trailer for about 15 minutes instead of 2 hours, so it made a big difference to me.
What did you do with all that time?
Oh, well, I was able to go get a coffee for myself. I was able to go to the bathroom whenever I wanted. Thank you. You guys don't understand. That's a big issue. Over that 39-year career, the bathroom has been the bane of my existence and not being able to get to it.
I can only imagine.
Now that we're talking about it. When you look at a character like I played in The Shape of Water, that beautiful amphibian man, okay, that gorgeous body he had and that fine ass he had, right? Yeah, it came at a price because there was no trap door on the back at all. And you're in that for 17 hours a day, who knows? So it's like, okay, I lived in fear of having an accident all day, every day I was in that suit, right? So and then there was a front flap built in that I could pee if I needed to, but they also glued onto me webbed fingers with claws. Have you ever tried to get to your business with webbed fingers and claws?
Yes.
Can't say I have.
So I've spent most of my 39 years career in showbiz dehydrated.
Nice. Next question.
Hello, my name is Anne. It's so lovely to have you here. You talked about things that you learned from Saru. Are there other characters that you've been able to learn things from and incorporate into your human life?
Ooh, good. That's nice. Let's see. Again, well, another like lovability. Am I beautiful or enough to be seen by the world? That issue. Again, The Shape of Water. Back to that. There was this beautiful love story being told between a monster from the wild and a mute cleaning lady, right? It seemed like an unexpected match. So, but that love story was so gorgeously told by director Guillermo del Toro, who no one else could have told it but him. And Guillermo has such a gift of making monsters his leading characters, you know. And the real monster of the movie might be a human who's gone off the rails or too narcissistic or whatever. So I learned more from him too. That my body image and my love or loathing of myself has been a lifelong process. And so in my later years now, I'm actually come to terms with I'm tall and skinny, I'm goofy looking, and that's going to be darn pretty from now on. All right, so yeah, we don't need that.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Over here.
So I know many actors like to do impersonations of other actors. Do you impersonate anyone? And do you think anyone does a good impersonation of you?
Oh, good question. When people impersonate me, they usually go, "Oh, there's love for you." And they're not wrong, so that's good. As far as me, I'm not really. I wouldn't say I'm a good impressionist with other people. The one voice and one person I tend to quote a lot and put on his voice is my favorite director, Guillermo del Toro. Right? Whenever, like for instance, we've been through so much together, 6 movies and a TV show is. We were working on Pan's Labyrinth, right? You remember Pan's Labyrinth? I was playing this fawn character and also the Pale Man. And at one point, we'd been filming for about a week. And it was all the fawn character scenes so far. And one day, I'm sitting in my little fawn chair. I didn't have a special stool because I had a tail sticking out of my butt. You know? As you do. I'm sitting there kind of like, between shot setups, and I hear these footsteps coming at me. It's Guillermo. And he doesn't pick up his feet when he walks, and I'm like the dog who knows his master's footsteps, like, Father. So he gets up and he puts his hand on my forearm. He says, "I know you have not heard much from me, my friend, but it's because you're getting it right. If you get it wrong, I'll let you know." There you go.
Next question here.
would be if you saw the Hellboy movies. Yes. Hellboy 1 and 2, I played a blue fish guy named Abe Sapien. He went through different wardrobe changes, but when it was just the leather shorts and a lot of blue fish guys showing shirtless, 7 hours a day. 7 hours a day. And then a 2-hour makeup cleanup at the end of that day. So I got there before everybody else, and I wrapped after everybody else with filming 10 to 12 hours in the middle of that, like anybody else.
So you did not sleep?
That's another year I didn't sleep. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for asking, Ron.
Over here.
So the original concept for Saru, it was like a triangle head with a million eyes. Did you like that concept?
It was a beautiful design. Anyone seen these images before? Some of you? Yeah. Saru was going to be, the Kelpian species was going to be a kind of a winged head. Two like crescents that came off his head this way. And 10 eyeballs in the face. It was quite to look at. And Neville Page designed that. And I went into, once I was cast, I went in to do a fitting and a screen test with all of this look on to see how it played and would it work. And that day, oh my goodness. I loved the look of it. It was like very interesting and quirky and makes you tilt your head and go, how does that work? But what happened was too, that because it stuck so far up, it had an anchor with a helmet underneath the rubber skin makeup. That made that helmet, if it's not super tight, it'll go right, and that pushes all the skin down, and then you have it just mashes and makes you feel very uncomfortable. And in order to make it tighter, they have to go on the cap, right?
That sounds like a migraine.
Indeed, yeah. So that's also not sustainable for 5 seasons of a show. So I was a little bit like, oh geez, I'm not sure this is going to work. And Neville Page called me the night after that first fitting and he said, be honest with me. What did you think of today's makeup test? And I said, honestly, Neville, you designed something gorgeous, but at the same time, it's an absolute monster to wear. I said, I don't know. Every time I looked down, I felt a shift or a pain, and you know, I'm going to be on a Star Trek bridge of a starship. How often do you look down at your panel? A lot. You know, how often do you look down at props and weapons? A lot. I don't know. That's going to be a hardship. I said, the other thing is, I haven't seen all the scripts that are coming ahead for us, but I know that they're looking at a 5-year plan for the show as it is. What kind of emotional arc is this character going to go through? What kind of moments is he going to have, highs and lows and sad and happies? Is that going to read with 10 eyeballs? But seriously, you know, right? And the other characters that I have to interact with, are they going to be able to focus on any of those eyeballs to make an emotional connection with? It might be easier if we go back to 2 eyeballs. So he said, great, I'm really happy to hear this. I thought the exact same thing. And he said, also, the network told us if we want 10 eyeballs, it's going to cost too much to have them on camera very much. Because they have to animate them all in post-production. So the cheaper, easier way was to make me pretty with big eyes. so he sent me that he worked on a new design overnight. The next day I got a text with, and he said, what do you think of this? It was the Saru that we know now. And I said, oh, there he is. Yeah.
I'm glad they did that, because your eyes are really pierced out. They're so pretty.
Thank you.
Makeup, time-wise, was that even more of a process than Saru?
Oh, the first design?
Yeah.
It was a little bit longer because they had to build in, because they had to anchor it ahead of time. It took more zhuzh. Yes.
7 hours worth?
No, not 7 hours, but about 4. And
Still.
so the Saru that you've seen on camera only took 2 hours a day. All of those intricate sculpting and colors in him were done ahead of time. So the makeup takes weeks because they do the molding and the sculpting and the pre-painting ahead of time. Getting them onto me is the last step. So that went only 2 hours a day.
Amazing. All right, how about over here?
Hey, Doug. Thank you for being here. Loved Saru, absolutely. But if you could have picked another disco or even another Star Trek character to play, is there one that you thought of?
Oh, a Vulcan for sure. When I grew up, I was born in 1960, so the original series is 66. I was old enough to be aware of that show and to see that tall, thin guy on the bridge with pointy ears going, I like him. I get him, right? I loved his style. He was different than the average human. I kind of felt that way in my own life, even at 6. So I thought, oh gosh, you know, as I aged into being an actor and more Star Trek series were coming along, I'm like, one day I'd like to play a Vulcan. And then I finally didn't get my Star Trek call until I was 56 years old. And it's like, you're going to be a Kelpian. But the writers, when they brought me in to pitch the show to me, they said, this is going to be the Spock of our show. Even though you're not a Vulcan, but you're going to be the Spock of the show. And I think Saru did kind of play out that way. So I was like, good enough, I'm in.
All right, we have time for one more question, then we gotta wrap up. Do you plan on going into any future Star Trek projects if you're offered a role?
I wouldn't say no. Right now, of course, everyone's asking about Starfleet Academy. That's the one show that is in the right timeline for anyone from Disco to guest star on. I'll tell you, Alex Kurtzman, the showrunner, oversees all the Star Trek shows. When we were wrapping up Star Trek Discovery and Academy had just been announced, I said to him, Alex, he was on set with us for that last episode. I asked him, I said, hey, can you just tell me that Mary Wiseman's Tilly character is going to show up in Academy? Because she makes sense, because she's over there already, right, on our show. And his answer was, well, I hope to get all of you over there at some point. So I hope so.